Eu sou Igor Lopes, vou estar aqui com você nessa conversa de agora para falar sobre hiperpersonalização. Mas hiperpersonalização num contexto em que você precisa falar com milhões de clientes ao mesmo tempo. Se a gente pensar iFood, Zé Delivery, West Wing, Pet Love, Dafit, Well Hub, o que essas empresas têm em comum? Primeiro, elas têm que falar para milhões de pessoas que são bastante heterogêneas, né? Então, estão em momentos diferentes de compras e interesses diferentes. Mas uma outra coisa em comum que elas têm é que elas usam uma plataforma chamada Braze para poder mandar todas essas mensagens. E eu estou falando de milhões de mensagens diárias. Para conversar sobre isso, estou aqui ao lado do John Hyman, que é CTO e co-founder da Braze. Essa entrevista vai ser em inglês, mas a gente vai mudar agora para vocês começar a legendar. Mas, first of all, thanks a lot for being here with us, John.
Thank you so much for having me today.
So how do you explain Braze for people that don't know yet what you do?
Braze is a customer engagement platform. So we help consumer brands use first-party data to deliver relevant and memorable customer experiences through personalized messaging.
That's cool. So you have a big number, 4 trillion messages sent in 2024. How not to be spam? How to use the exact message when talking to like me or you? The message for me is going to be different from the message for you.
In order for brands to deliver a great customer experience, they really need to add a lot of relevance and value to the consumer when they reach out to them. In today's mobile digital world, consumers can always reach out to the brands that they love, and brands are always able to share with them the latest news, insights, promotions, and things that are going to add value back to the consumer. So ultimately, what it's important for brands to do is understand who the consumer is. What are their preferences? What do they like to do? What are their actions and activities and their demographics? And then make sure that the messaging is tailored specifically to the things that are going to be valuable for them. So for example, our customer Zé Delivery sends out a message if you're a football fan and if you have a game that's going on for your football club today, they might send out a push notification that there's a game going on at 3 p.m. So at 1 p.m., why not go ahead and order beers because you're probably going to have some friends over. And that's the type of message that understands who you are, understands your preferences, and ultimately is going to hopefully have you have a better experience with you and your friends later in the day.
In a better experience because obviously the motorboys are going to be watching the game as well. So you won't have so many motorboys to deliver the thing at the game, or maybe they won't watch the game because they're going to be working there. So you make the order earlier. So
that's exactly right. It's you want to make sure that you're just ultimately adding value of what's going to be in the best interest of the consumer.
how do you use IA in this context?
So AI has the ability to really transform how marketers are engaging their consumers because you can marry together the handcrafted experiences that marketers are making with their own engagement strategies along with the machine optimization that you can get from AI. And so with Braze, we really have a range and a full spectrum of tools that our customers who are marketers can use in order to optimize their campaigns. So on one hand, you can think of the most basic type of optimization of things like what is the best time to send a message to any individual consumer? Maybe you're going to be more receptive at 3 p.m. I'm going to be more receptive at 9 in the morning. All the way on the other side of the spectrum, we have AI agents that use reinforcement learning in order to deliver the right message with a particular content, frequency, cadence, and channel to any individual consumer. So we want to move from a world where marketers are thinking about customers in terms of different large segments. And so for me, bifurcate their audience into different groups and then build journeys specifically to where those groups are with respect to their own customer journeys. We want to move away from that to a world where AI is able to control a lot more of what messaging consumers get based on the marketer's goal. If you're a video streaming service like our customer in HBO Latam, you want to get more people to watch lots of different content, not just TV shows, but movies as well. You don't want them to be monthly subscribers. You want them to be annual subscribers so you can continue to engage them with better content. And so instead of having marketers have to manually submit and create journeys, why can't we have AI take a lot of content for these consumers, understand the goal of what the marketer is trying to achieve, understanding the guardrails that they have in place around promotions or content or rules, and then deliver the journey for the marketer, figuring out what is the best message to send, on what channel is that, what's the content and the items that we should be recommending that that user watch. So there's really a good opportunity overall for AI to be engaged with everything from when to send, what to send, who to send to, and then continue to optimize and learn from there.
But how not to be creepy? Because AI can cross informations and maybe know something about you, even if you didn't tell it before.
The big thing, again, is going back to something that's going to add value for the consumer. So the way that Braze works is we're helping consumers use their first-party data. So this is the data that the consumer is giving directly to them through their interactions or the things that they're signing up for the consumer. So if you look at our customer Well Hub, they're a gym. If you're interested in yoga and when you use the mobile app and you say, those are the things that you want to do, I'm interested in yoga or I'm interested in Pilates, they're going to be sending you more content around yoga and Pilates. And any kind of AI optimization may be driving you toward a class that might be valuable for you. What we're not doing with Braze is we're not augmenting and enriching that kind of data and trying to infer any other information around a consumer. Because ultimately what we're helping customers do is strengthen their customer relationship. And the best way to do that is with first-party data that you know the customer has shared with you, instead of trying to infer it or hallucinate what you might think about the customer.
But I have that famous case, I think it's for Target, that was this girl that was pregnant. And then Target sent a message to her, oh, now that you're pregnant and everything. Then her parents saw that message. She was pregnant, exactly, you know? So it's not the thing to say in a message like that.
Yeah, there certainly are challenges and misfires that marketers can have, but ultimately the thing comes down to if someone is looking at information around diapers and they're looking at information around infant wellness and newborn health, it can add a lot of value to that consumer to share with them information around being a new mother, a new parent there. And sometimes maybe it can go wrong there and be sent to, be seen by the wrong person. But ultimately what we see for our customers who are even in that space is they're really trying to add a lot of value. So we work with a diaper company in the United States. They used to be able to sell diapers just by having them at eye level at the grocery store. And that was really all you need to do. Everyone knew they had to buy diapers. But now because of things like Instagram, because of all these different brands on Amazon or discount brands, they really compete a lot just to sell those diapers. And what they've had to do is focus their business more digitally, release a mobile app that is around a parenting community where they can bring parents together, and then ultimately had the privilege of selling them diapers and other pieces of content. And so all around what our customers try to do is ultimately connect better with their customers and understand them better. Right. Ultimately, we want to strengthen that. And that's actually what the word braze means. We named our company Braze, and it's a metallurgy term to bond together two pieces of metal. And we think about bonding together consumers and the brands that they love and making a stronger relationship with them.
What more use cases can be like in the US and other markets as well?
So we work with a lot of different businesses. So for example, we have a great penetration in terms of quick service restaurants. And quick service restaurants have undergone a huge evolution over the last 5 or 6 years as things like loyalty, couponing, online ordering, and on-demand delivery have become possible with them. And so many of our quick service restaurant customers are trying to get people to increase the amount of digital ordering that they're doing. And so with Braze, we're seeing customers use in-product messaging in order to promote a loyalty program. It's really important to try to figure out when is the best time to prompt someone to join your loyalty program. Is it the first time they download your app and open it, when they first complete an order, when they're actually browsing the menu there? So marketers are able to experiment with Braze to figure out what is the right time and the best way for each individual consumer to prime them for that goal to ultimately deliver a better conversion. So with quick service restaurant, we do a lot of loyalty. We do a lot of in-product messaging around just new features, new menu items, and things like that. We also then work with a variety of other businesses. One of them is real estate. And in real estate, there's a number of different players that are in different personas that are important here. You have renters and buyers, you have sellers of high-end properties and low-end properties, you have renters who are interested in high-end properties and low-end properties. And our customers are then able to segment their audiences into these different groups, to these different cities, and send them messages that may resonate a little bit more with them. And culturally, you can also send messages that have a tone that you think is going to resonate more with folks in a certain geographic area with real estate. In the United States, people in New York City or California might care about different things or different tones than it is in Texas. And so we have some of our customers that may be talking more about an apartment's environmental impact and the fact that it may be certified to be very energy efficient when they're selling an apartment a unit in California. When it comes to Texas, you might want space, you want backyards, you want amenities. And so they're able to actually use that insight around consumers in geographic regions to deliver a better message to them.
What about the amount of messages? Because I guess like people in California might be more talkative than people in New York, for example. So you won't bother people not bother, but send loads of messages to people in New York as much as you send to the Californian people, for example, like here in Brazil, São Paulo or Northeast, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. This is a concept that we call messaging pressure. And ultimately, you think about it as sending too many messages. If you over-message people, they're going to opt out and disengage, and that's going to be bad for your business. But if you under-message people, then you leave money on the table and opportunity to share with them. And so we have a lot of different pieces of functionality and analytics that allow our customers to control the amount of messages that they send while also providing them insights around how often they're sending by channel. So one of our quick service restaurants in America, for example, was looking at our analytics, and they realized that customers didn't want to be emailed more than about 2 times a month. Kind of anything more than that, they stopped engaging, they stopped clicking. But when it came to things like push notifications, when it came to in-product messages, I don't want to say there wasn't any limit, but after sending 6 or 8 of them a month, consumers weren't showing any signs of dropping off or unsubscribing from that. And so what they did is they shifted their strategy to ensure that they were only messaging folks about 2 times a month on email, while they ratcheted up the amount of in-product messaging and push notifications they did. And they were getting a lot better conversion rates around new menu items, special promotions. So for example, it's June Pride Month in America right now, and they're promoting rainbow sprinkles on top of their milkshakes. Those types of messages had really great conversion and didn't cause any kind of fatigue or consumer opt-out.
But like in a message, someone that can spend more than it's being spent now, so you can make it spend more. Maybe like, for example, like CX, you can identify opportunities like customers who could have a higher ticket size, not only because of the promotion that you have at this moment, but maybe sell something that's more expensive.
And that's also a great opportunity for AI to come into the picture. Because customers will look at users on various propensity scores. What's the likelihood they are to make a purchase? Or is this a customer that we think is going to become a high value consumer, and then be able to segment them differently? And in fact, when we look at even just nudging users into making purchases, our customers will optimize their paid media and advertising spending with top of Braze too. Because if you look at something like a metric of likelihood to make a purchase, you could take everyone who's likely to make a purchase and say, well, they're going to probably make a purchase anyway. Take everyone who's not likely to make a purchase and say, you know what, if they're unlikely to make a purchase, it's going to be hard to kind of push them out. Focus really on the middle. And then we have some customers who take that and then they promote that to their Facebook spend, their Google advertising spend, and really try to get folks in the middle in order to increase their basket size or increase the number of purchases they do. We see a lot of good success there. And this all really comes back to that hyper-personalization concept, where it's not just about the message that you're sending to consumers, it's who you're speaking to, and make sure that the audience you're looking at is going to be interested and going to be receptive to the content you're sharing with them.
But to do this journey in a good way, you need to have like structured data. What do you say to companies that still are facing these kind of problems?
We've been doing a survey every year for the past 6 or 7 years with a company called Wakefield Research, where we survey about 1,000 to 1,500 marketing VPs and higher across the world in about a dozen different global markets. And we ask them their biggest challenges. And consistently, year over year, and even this year, what we found is that data management is one of the hardest challenges that brands have. And there's good reason for it. Because if you think about what brands may be doing now, is they might have a lot of disconnected tools, or they have an email team versus a mobile team versus a web team, all operating on different data sets, all operating with different rules and different goals here together. Or they have a lot of systems that aren't yet talking to each other. And a lot of businesses are in this moment of transformation of thinking about how they can centralize and standardize that data altogether. So we're seeing an explosion in products like data platforms. So companies using Databricks or Snowflake, which are great partners of Braze, as well as Google BigQuery or AWS Redshift, to come together and centralize all of their data. We've seen a lot of businesses that have tried to perform that kind of operation through a CDP, a customer data platform, and just try to get their data house in order. And at Braze, what we try to do is make it as easy as possible for marketers to achieve the use cases they have, to use their own data and plug it directly into Braze. But it is still one of the biggest challenges for customers is when they want to start doing this stuff. Everyone knows they should be doing this stuff, but the hard part is, how do I get started? Because I don't have the data. It takes me a long time. My team's not structured like that. And we've got to really break down those silos inside an organization before they can get running and achieve a lot of great results.
And it's kind of cultural as well, isn't it?
There certainly is, in particular when you think about team culture, because there are some folks who need to rely on other teams, and then teams who feel that they're being bothered or essentially pulled down by another group. We often see a lot of businesses where when they come to us and they say, gosh, it takes us 3 months in order to send an email. And a big part of that is they have to talk to a data team to pull a user audience to upload that back. Or they have to work with their engineers, and their engineers say, we don't want to be doing any of this marketing stuff. We've got a huge roadmap to build. And some of the value that we give back to our customers is saying that we can help with a lot of those efficiencies. We want to free the marketing team up to be much more independent. So we have a financial services business in the United States that's used for sending and receiving payments, peer-to-peer payments. And they have a messaging placement in their app. It's kind of like a top banner that's like a big call to action. So for example, if they're promoting a credit card that you're eligible for, or they want to promote the fact that you can split bills with your friends, they use this in the top banner. They use Braze to power that. And what they wanted to do was change something where if they didn't have any Braze particularly promoted message to send, they actually wanted to sell it as an advertising slot for other services.
For sure,
And the marketing team wasn't able, they had this idea for a really long time. The marketing team wasn't able to do this because they relied on the engineering team. The engineering team wasn't going to prioritize that feature. They're working on other stuff. But once they built this banner feature with Braze, the marketing team is able to do this in 2 months with no engineers at all. And so a lot of times people come to us and we say, we can certainly help because we can give you more independence, but it does require a cultural shift of the way your teams have got to operate together or have to get foundations in place to make your teams be able to be more independent.
That's really great. And then at the event now, we're talking a lot about agents. So if you think of this AI with agents, things can go further, right?
Absolutely. And that's a direction that we've been really excited to move in. So last year at our customer conference, I announced an last year at our customer conference, I announced an AI agent-based solution called Project Catalyst that helps our customers deliver personalized journeys by giving us content and having us optimize it. Even if you think about messages that you want to send out, let's just say you have an email to send to a consumer. You typically have a subject line. Maybe you have an image in that email. Maybe there's some call to action button or something to do. If I have 10 different email subject lines, 10 different images, and 10 different calls to action, all of a sudden now I have 10 times 10 times 10. I have 1,000 different versions of that email that I can be sending out. And so what we want our customers to move in a direction of with our product is to give us that content where they say like, look, here's what I'm trying to achieve. Here's 2 different emails. Here's 2 different push notifications. Here's a WhatsApp message that we can send that are all in service of this goal. And for each one of those messages, break them down into different components and use generative AI in order to create different permutations of them. So now we don't just have 5 messages, 2 emails, 2 push, 1 WhatsApp. Maybe we have 50,000 different messages that we have now that we can send to a consumer. And then use AI agents in order to make the decisions of what to send. If I'm trying to get you to make a purchase, maybe you're going to get a WhatsApp first. And if you don't respond, you'll get an email. But maybe I'm going to get an email. And then 2 days later, I'm going to get a second email because we might be very different in our interests and the way that we interact with the brand. And so that agentic method is going to be just very powerful for making marketers be able to focus more strategically on the creative and not so much on the mechanics of how do I set up this particular campaign to achieve my goal. And that we think is going to unlock just a lot of value for teams.
You know, man, you're the CTO. I think I keep imagining how big is the list of new features you can put into the product. You know, what can you expect from the future? Because if you say about like agents, you have like a list of things you can do. So if you think of what is coming next, it never stops.
Yeah, we think about what we get thousands of pieces of content. I'm sorry. If you think about what we get thousands of pieces of product feedback every single month from our customers. But really in the AI-driven future, we've got that direction that I was talking about of helping marketers build their own journeys automatically of determining the content and the messaging to go out there. But also we think about Braze and AI, want to think about it as how we can operate more like a full team and not just a co-pilot. Hey, you want to have a data analyst and a content creator and a copywriter and a programmer and a data scientist all working for you in Braze. And so some of the things that we look toward is how we can surface insights back up to consumers and give them nudges around what might make a campaign more successful. So as you're typing out content for a message, be able to automatically score that and say something like, we don't think this is going to be the most receptive message based on the audience you have. How about we suggest some changes that you make here? We don't think this message is as engaging as it could be. Do you want us to make some changes to it? Or even saying things like, this audience we think is going to be more receptive to it than this other audience. Do you want us to send it to them instead? And those are the things where you move from a platform that someone's using into something that really is more like a tool that's adding value even when you're not directly inside of it. And so I'm very excited about that future for our marketers. And from the consumer perspective, AI is going to just continue to increase their expectations of what they expect out of brands. They want to have a better experience, a faster experience, a more personalized experience, and they're going to. In the future, things will only be faster, more personalized, and better. And so that raises the expectations for every brand to do a better job personalizing. And ultimately, the way that you're faster and better is by adding a lot more value. And you do that through the use of data and soon a lot more machine learning and AI on top of it.
Very good. So, John, we're going into the end of our conversation. Do you have anything else to say, like any other message you would like to tell to send to the people?
One of the things that's really exciting overall of what we do is helping businesses message across different channels. We have something like 2,300 customers, and about 50% of all of our customers are sending 4 or more channels with Braze. That means they're sending like email and push notifications and in-product messages and still more channels with Braze. And a lot of folks come to us, they might even just be starting with one channel here. But importantly, what our research has just shown countlessly, time and time again, is that the more channels that you're engaging a consumer on, the higher your conversion, the better your attention is going to be. And that makes sense, because if you get a cohesive campaign that's sent to you about WhatsApp, that's also on email, when you open up a mobile app, you see similar types of content there. It really reinforces what you're trying to deliver to a consumer. And so ultimately, brands need to be cohesive across channels. And the best way to do that is with a single platform. We're using the same data sets, the same journey building, the same reporting, and the same tools all integrated together. And that's the platform that we're trying to build and we have been building. And love to work with more folks in the future. And for anyone who's out watching now, we'd love to hear from you and hope that you enjoy your time at CMO Summit and look forward to hearing more.
Beleza, ó, para quem quiser conhecer mais, braze.com/pt-br. E eu agradeço demais a presença aqui do John Hyman, que é CTO, co-founder da Braze. Thanks a lot, John, for being with us. It was really helpful.
It was a great time. Thank you for having me.